We have really amazingly great news for patriots everywhere. Here's the Maricopa County update. Arizona State Senate put out a press release today stating, "We are grateful for the Superior Court judge's ruling this morning that the Senate subpoenas are legal and enforceable, and it is entitled to audit the voting equipment and ballots used in the November elections." Today's ruling states the Arizona legislature clearly has the power to investigate and examine election reform matters. Accordingly, the senators have the power to subpoena material as part of an inquiry into election reform measures. Here's our response to the state senators that are fighting for we the people. Congratulations. The court has yet again confirmed your power and authority over the Board of Supervisors in the election. Now is the time to act swiftly. The people deserve justice and resolution. Issue the order and secure the ballots and the equipment immediately. Have a reputable forensic team do a true cybersecurity audit of this election. Show we the people that you stand with courage and conviction for what's right and just. Do not allow any more illegitimate obstacles by the Board of Supervisors or any other entity of this county. We stand with you in full support. We the People AZ Alliance.
with that ballot bag issue, the Postal Service and the Santa Clara County Register of Voters are investigating a potentially problematic discovery. Reports of a bag stuffed with valid, completed Santa Clara County ballots in a ravine in the Santa Cruz Mountains. In a story you'll see only on NBC Bay Area, our Robert Honda joins us from San Jose to tell us what's being done.
Well, two of the people whose ballots were recovered told us they mailed them off from this post office here on Payne Avenue in West San Jose. Now, we only reported the discovery to the Registrar of Voters and the Postal Service late this afternoon, so those investigations are just getting underway. But this is how it started. Lou and Janet Whitkin made sure they mailed off their ballots early, the Saturday before the election. But here is where it appears their ballots ended up, in a torn bag reportedly discovered off Sugarloaf Road near Highway 17 in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
How? How did it get from the mailbox to Santa Cruz? Just disappointing to me that something could have transpired.
I'm interested in the facts, so wanted to see, well, what was the situation? Was it something that was dropped in transit? You know, what were the circumstances?
Julie Neiman would like to know as well. She tells us she was riding her motorcycle to work when she spotted the torn bag and noticed the ballots. She said she feels like someone was trying to make sure the bag of ballots wouldn't be found.
They were trying to make it look so people wouldn't find them, is the way I saw it. They were dumped over the edge of the road down this deep ravine. It goes pretty far and it's very steep.
The Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters was reluctant to speculate on exactly what happened or how those ballots reportedly ended up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but closely examined the pictures NBC Bay Area provided.
Well, it appears in the pictures that there are ballots mixed in with non-election material. So with seeing that, you would think this may have come from the postal stream somehow.
Again, both the post office and the registrar are now investigating this incident together. The registrar also wanted to remind voters you can track your ballot by going through its website to make sure your ballot ends up where it's supposed to. In San Jose, Robert Honda, NBC Bay Area News.
To the ongoing drama and confusion over the midterm election in Harris County. Republicans are making serious allegations against the new election administrator, including that he intentionally did not provide enough ballot paper to polls in what they call Republican strongholds.
We have team coverage for you tonight, including the latest on the ballot count. But let's get right to Matt Doherty with reaction to those allegations. Matt.
Yeah, Ron, there is no debate. Lots of people were turned away from polling sites when they ran out of paper for ballots. The question now is, how many?
Tracy joins us now live from City Hall with more on the fallout from the firing and what criminal charges this staffer may be facing.
Kimberly Zapata has worked for Milwaukee's Election Commission for almost a decade. She admitted to sending or trying to get military ballots in other people's names. Now, while the mayor said she did this outside of work, he says this is unacceptable.
This has every appearance of being an egregious, blatant violation of trust.
Just 5 days before the midterm election,
The city of Milwaukee has removed the deputy director of our elections commission.
Mayor Cavalier Johnson announced Kimberly Zapata was fired for admitting to illegally requesting military ballots in other people's names. She sent them to State Representative Janelle Branchett.
It does not matter to me that this might have been an effort to expose a vulnerability that state law created.
As a member of the military, you don't have to register or show an ID to vote. The city believes she was trying to prove a loophole in the elections process.
And so it is my belief that she was pointing out that you can go onto the public system, make up a person, and request a ballot.
Just days ago, Branchett posted on social media that she received these ballots at her home address. The last time we spoke to Zapata was the August primary.
Things have been going really well. We have about 80 poll workers. Come on my property.
Are you Kimberly Zapata? This time, Zapata refused to speak to us and drove off. The case is now in the hands of the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. They say charges will be coming in the next couple of days. I actually also did reach out to Zapata's attorney, Michael Maselman, and he says they will refer to litigation in the courtroom, not the media. For now, reporting live from City Hall tonight, I'm Spencer Tracy, Fox 6 News. All right.
everybody. I'm Arizona State Senator Sonny Borelli. I'm currently the Senate Majority Whip. I want to welcome you here today. What we're trying to do is show you exactly what we got going on. Listen, when the audit was completed back in 20, and we had an audit report that was done for that in September. However, we didn't stop looking. We didn't stop digging. When one phase was done, we went into another phase. And one of the things that we found out from the audit was the ballot signatures on the envelope. Okay, and we tried to do a signature analysis on that. And Dr. Shiva, who's got an MIT professor, has got credentials as long as my arm. And since the county would not give us the voter registration forms to validate and verify signatures in the envelope to a voter registration, it wouldn't give that to us. So they had to go through other public records requests and other sources to get signatures to try to verify that the name on the ballot envelope was legit. Naturally, we were discredited because we didn't use the source that the county's elections are supposed to use, which is the signature on the voter registration. Well, we didn't stop there, and we obtained voter registration documents. It actually has the signature of the registered voter and compared that to what is on the ballot envelope. Now, this is just a tip of the iceberg. We've only had the team analyze this, and have only actually analyzed 5% of what the total 2 million ballots in Maricopa County. Now, this is not an indictment or attack on Maricopa County. What we're trying to do is show you exactly, as future legislators, that's what we need to do the next legislative session. We need to tighten up legislation to fix things because we need to close loopholes and any cracks in the system, because if the system gets compromised, then we have a problem, and then it just gets amplified because we never fixed it. So one of the reasons, the main purpose of this is to identify what's broken, if anything is broken, and let's fix it.
Intentionally refusing to allow representatives and poll what?
I'm going to send it to Bill.
This lady is marking the ballots. I filmed her a half hour ago doing 6, and she's still working at it. Let's stamp it, received, and let's fill in our 6 blanks. All at the top of the tickets on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's a security guard right there who's watching her. The cops are in on it. Disgusting.
What's going on in this country? And of course, here's a screenshot there in Maricopa County. Look who was inside the ballot rooms. Katie Hobbs, timestamp 2. So there she is at 10:07 at night, walking around inside the special center where when the machines failed the Republican precincts, they shipped them by truck to the special center, which then, of course, found the votes needed so she could win. Katie Hobbs. And, of course, they try to say that's been debunked, but the fact is she ran the elections. That's the reality of this. Congratulations to the Senate Democrats for suddenly pulling ahead and winning surprise victories by the perfect margins 4 days after the polls closed in the dead of night, only in states with mail-in for the second time in a row. We've never seen anything like it in 244 years. Cernovich says Republicans won the popular vote. Lots of dodgy stuff happening, but don't lose sight of it. We voted past the margin of cheating almost. Overall strong. I agree with that statement. Here's what I mentioned earlier. The live stream computer application lost connection with the cameras at 11:24 p.m. that evening and was restored at 7:53 a.m. Mission completed. Here's the report. We played the video on Friday. 23 precincts in Harris County ran out of paper for voting, and all 23 are Republican stronghold precincts. This doesn't happen by chance. This comes by cheating, and I totally agree with those statements. All the exit polls showed massive Republican landslide. All the exit polls showed that people blame 70+% the Democrats and Joe Biden. All the numbers showed that. The exit polls showed that. And then chicanery and weirdness only in key districts where Democrats were losing massively and in the sub-precincts of those areas. Katie Hobbs ran her own election in Arizona. And how did you think it was going to end, ladies and gentlemen? How did you think it was going to end? They can try to spin it all day and say, oh, well, that's not her. That's not her. That's probably somebody else. Well, let's say maybe it is somebody else. It doesn't matter. She ran her own election. And it goes on and on and on from there. All right.
This is interesting information coming in off of New York. We were seeing nothing coming in from New York all of the evening until all of a sudden we have 99% posted in the governor's race for New York. And you see all the blue that's there, all the statements that are there. But look at the red. The red is Zeldin. But look at when I scroll over what it shows. It shows Zeldin at 63.1% with 34,311. It's very important to pay attention to that because when I move into the next one, well, it's not that one. I move into this one, same amount, 63.1% at 34,311. Oh, same thing in this one. Oh, same thing in that one. Oh, same thing in that one. Same thing there. Same numbers there. Identically. 34,311 votes, 63.1% polling in all but one of the districts. Look at that. Same thing there, even in the little bitty ones. So exactly 34,311 people voting in each one of these counties exactly, identically. Now, you would say, okay, so the numbers are fake for Zeldin. Well, let's look at Holcomb's. 113,228. That one's different. That one's different. 113,228. Same thing. Oh, the 73, by the way, matches the one up here. 73,693. 73,693. 73,693. 73,693. The 145 will be repeated too. 145,415. Where is it? Where's the other one? The next one. Oh, there's the 113. You got 145, 415. 145, 73, 693. You notice the patterns. These districts are using the same exact number of votes with the exact same percentages duplicated over and over again for either person. There's nothing real about that. That is copy and pasted data to fill in the gap.
So what happens is we have two tabulators. One of the tabulators is not working, okay? The other tabulator is taking about 75% successful. So 25% of them are being misread, and it could be a printer issue, or it could be the tabulator itself. So when it's misread, you have an option to put it into what's called box 3, and it gets read, whether it goes downtown and gets read manually, or whether it gets refed into our tabulator.
We don't want to adjudicate.
They get read, okay? So no one's trying to deceive anybody.
Of course not. Not on election day. That would never happen, right? No, that would never happen.
So choices are, you guys. Sure.
If I get up there and that happens to my ballot, can I take my ballot with me and go somewhere else?
Sorry, and there's not
because I don't trust to go in a box right here.
No way.
The choice is, I'll come back. The choice is to wait until.
What's your name and who are you with?
I'm Stephanie Side with PBS NewsHour.
Do you think this is normal, guys? My question is, do you think what's happening here in Maricopa County is normal? We have had problems after problems. And there's a reason we decided to change locations. We were going to go to a pretty Republican area. But I woke up this morning and within minutes of the polls opening up, I started getting people calling, voters in tears, calling my personal number, saying, what's going on? The tabulators aren't working. They told me to put my ballot into a box and they would drive it downtown to count it. This is not normal stuff. We don't have to have elections run this way. We switched from a Republican area to vote. We came right down into the heart of liberal Phoenix to vote because we wanted to make sure that we had good machines. And guess what? They've had zero problems with their machines today. Not one machine spit out a ballot here today. Not one, in a very liberal area. So we were right to come and vote in a liberal area. They got to fix this problem. This is incompetency. I hope it's not malice, but we're going to fix it. We're going to win. And when we win, there's going to be a come to Jesus for elections in Arizona. There's going to be a come to Jesus.
So I pulled my ballot, it got misread, but then what was happening?
Put it in there.
Yeah.
And tonight, a Republican and a Democrat will sit and go through all of the misread ballots all over the county and count them. And it will get counted.
Okay. And both machines were not working. Yeah.
No, nothing's working in the last half hour. Nothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're trying to get that fixed.
So no machines at this center are working at all. Okay, and this is the what station is this? Okay, this is the Central Christian Church, and none of the machines are working, and they are telling us that we have to leave. And so this is now happening here at this voting station also. At Central Christian, they're not letting you vote. You have to go to a different spot.
States away last in
look around. What the hell is he doing?
Each and every vote cast will make up a small part
right on
of
Fox.
the political landscape will look like.
At around 9 in the morning, with allegations of voter irregularities at precinct 77. Essentially what was passed on to me was not only a video, but information that the pollsters there were not giving yellow ballots, which would be for the city council race, to Republicans, and that they were only being given to Democrats, Independents, and Libertarians. At which point in time, I contacted our corporal in our criminal investigations division, informed him of what was going on, and sent him to the location to begin an investigation into the facts of this case. So before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and play the video that was taken by the individual that gave a call to me this morning with these allegations, and then we'll go from there. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, it'll play momentarily.
Hello. Good morning. Candidate for city council, and I'm being told that Republicans are going to deny a city council ballot in this polling place. Is that correct? I received 2 calls from 2 separate voters who said that they were told here that they did not need to receive a city council ballot. I'm sorry, what did you say?
We got wrong information this morning, and they were correct.
Oh, yeah. So you did deny Republicans city council.
Down to 29 ballots.
So you did deny Republicans city council ballots?
Yes, we made a mistake this morning.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear.
They told us that under the TLS, if they had the TLS and if they had MPN, those people didn't, if they had MPN at the end of the ballot, they don't care. But if they had TLS, they do.
Okay. So you did deny Republican voters ballot for the city council?
29 different ballots.
And
some of them will come, they're coming back, so we can get that clear, that straight back.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so as you can see in the video, the individual recording enters in and informs the pollsters that he had received calls from 2 individuals stating they were denied ballots because they were Republicans. And at one point in the video, he receives clarification that 29 ballots were not handed out, but that it was a mistake. So therein begins the investigation. And what we, our detectives, were able to ascertain is the following: that the pollsters did indeed, in fact, get interviewed and confirmed that they did not hand out yellow ballots, which were the city council ballots, to Republicans, and they were only handed out to Independents and Democrats. At that point in time, one of the pollsters indicated that they were certainly aware of the mistake, but that they were following the orders of the judge pollster, who was also interviewed and confirmed the same thing, that yes, indeed, they did, in fact, only hand out ballots to Democrats and Independents and not Republicans, but that it was, in fact, a mistake. The problem there is that they are all required to sign paperwork, if you'll hand that to me, Undersheriff, confirming that they understand the rules and regulations of the voting process, and it reads as follows. Voters in this precinct could receive 1 or 2 ballots. All voters in this precinct are eligible to receive the white, which would be the federal, state, and county general election ballot. Voters in this precinct with TULS in the MUNI column, municipal column, of the precinct registry are eligible to also receive the yellow City of Tulsa Council runoff election ballot, indicating that regardless of party affiliation, if you were living in that municipality, you are eligible to receive that ballot. In this case, it did not happen. The judge pollster, as well as the pollsters working at the precinct, all signed this, indicating they were aware of the rules and instructions regarding the voting process. At this point in time, the information that we have received does indicate that there was voter irregularities. We will put together and are in the process of putting together this investigation to hand to the district attorney's office for consideration of charges to be filed, which could potentially be impeding the voting process and or intentionally impeding it by fraudulent measures. That will be up to the district attorney to decide which charges are going to be filed, if any at all. I would tell the general public that it is the sheriff's office intent to ensure that the electoral process goes as it should. This is a sacred process that each American, each Tulsan should have confidence in when they go to the voting polls to vote for the individual they believe should be in that particular office. Without that, there's a complete and total breakdown of the system. And I think we've seen that over the last couple of years. We cannot have that, and we will not tolerate it, and we will investigate each allegation as they come in. At this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Gwen Freeman, who heads up the Tulsa County Election Board, for additional details in regards to this case. Gwen?
Thank you, Sheriff Regalado, and thank you all for being here. At approximately 7:45 a.m. this morning, we received at the Election Board a report that the first voters in line in Precinct 77 at the Episcopal Church located at 9100 East 21st Street in Tulsa had not received their District 5 City Council ballot along with their state ballot. Let me clarify. They had received their state ballot, not the City Council ballot that should have been handed out along with the state ballot. We then contacted the poll workers at that location, told them to hand out the City Council ballot along with the state ballot. They began handing out the City Council ballots, we're told, at 8 a.m. We began a dual investigation between the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office and the Tulsa County Election Board and have determined that this has affected somewhere between 30 and 40 voters. Upon learning of the incident, the poll workers at that precinct were relieved of their duty and new poll workers were immediately reassigned. On behalf of the Tulsa County Election Board, I'd like to apologize to anyone affected by this incident, as this does not reflect the standards of this election board. We take these kind of matters very, very seriously. And this is the kind of activity also that warrants the investigation not only by the election board, but also by the Sheriff's Office. And we are grateful for their investigation and assistance in this matter. This is also a reminder to everyone, if there is ever any issue at your polling place that you see happening and that you feel needs our attention on Election Day, please call us immediately and let us know so that we can remedy any of those issues as quickly as possible. We sincerely hope this does not have any significant effect on the outcome of this election, but if it's a number of ballots that could potentially affect the outcome of the election, then the appropriate remedy would be for the affected candidate to file an irregularity by 5 p.m. on Friday.